Have you ever wondered why some of the most intelligent people in the world often choose to spend time alone? Why is it that while most people constantly seek attention, approval, and endless social interactions, certain individuals find peace in silence? And perhaps the most surprising question of all, why do people who understand life deeply often begin to distance themselves from the crowd? At first glance, it seems strange. Society teaches us that being surrounded by people means happiness. We are told that popularity equals success and that being alone is something to fear. But what if the opposite is true? What if solitude isn't loneliness? What if it is power? Because throughout history, philosophers, scientists, artists, and visionaries have shared one thing in common. They learned how to be alone, not because they hated people, but because they understood something that most people never realize. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of your mind, and a distracted mind can never reach its true potential. Today, we will uncover the hidden psychology behind why intelligent people often prefer solitude and why learning to enjoy your own company may be one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. Because this isn't about isolation. It's about transformation. Most people are afraid of being alone. The moment silence enters their lives, they rush to escape it. They open social media. They turn on the television. They call someone. Anything to avoid sitting quietly with themselves. But intelligent people understand something different. They understand that silence reveals truths that noise hides. When you're constantly surrounded by distractions, you never truly get to know yourself. You become busy reacting to the world instead of understanding your own thoughts. And slowly, without realizing it, you begin to live according to other people's expectations. But solitude gives you something rare. It gives you clarity. Carl Jung once suggested that people who look outside dream, but people who look inside awaken. And perhaps that's why intelligent people spend so much time alone, because they are not running away from life. They are trying to understand it. In silence, you begin to hear your own voice instead of the voices of society. You begin to question beliefs you once accepted blindly. You begin to understand what truly matters. And this process can be uncomfortable. Because the truth is, most people are strangers to themselves. They know everyone else's opinions, but they don't know their own desires. They know what society expects, but they don't know what their soul wants. And that's why loneliness feels painful to so many people. Because when external distractions disappear, they are forced to confront themselves. But intelligent individuals don't fear this experience. They embrace it, because growth begins where distractions end. Another reason intelligent people prefer solitude is because they understand the value of energy. Every interaction costs energy. Every argument, every unnecessary conversation, every toxic relationship. And over time, intelligent people realize that not everyone deserves access to their mind. They stop trying to please everyone. They stop seeking validation. They stop wasting precious hours explaining themselves to people who have already decided not to understand. Because they understand one simple truth. Peace is more valuable than popularity. And perhaps this is why intelligent people often appear mysterious. Not because they think they are better than others, but because they have learned that constant noise destroys inner peace. They have learned that protecting their energy is an act of self-respect. Unfortunately, society often misunderstands this. People assume quiet individuals are arrogant. They assume solitude means sadness. But solitude and loneliness are not the same. Loneliness is feeling empty because no one is around. Solitude is feeling complete even when no one is around. And there is a massive difference between the two. One comes from lack, the other comes from abundance. Because intelligent people do not depend on others to feel whole. They enjoy relationships. They value connection. But they don't need constant attention to feel alive. Their happiness comes from within. And that changes everything. Because once you no longer need external approval, you become free. Free from manipulation. Free from comparison. Free from the exhausting desire to impress everyone around you. And freedom is dangerous. Because society profits from insecurity. A person who constantly seeks validation is easy to control. But a person who finds peace within themselves becomes independent, and independence is powerful. Perhaps that's why many great thinkers spent countless hours alone. Nikola Tesla, Albert Einstein, Isaac Newton. Not because they hated humanity, but because creativity requires space. Deep thinking requires silence. Great ideas rarely appear in chaos. They emerge in stillness, and that's something modern society has forgotten. Today, people are surrounded by noise 24 hours a day. Notifications, messages, videos, advertisements, endless distractions. But a distracted mind becomes a weak mind, because attention is power, and whatever controls your attention controls your life. Intelligent people understand this, which is why they guard their focus carefully. They understand that solitude isn't an escape from reality. It is preparation for reality. Because when you spend time alone, you strengthen your mind. You become emotionally independent. You stop reacting impulsively. You develop self-awareness. And perhaps most importantly, you discover who you truly are. Because the greatest relationship you will ever have is the relationship you have with yourself. And if you cannot enjoy your own company, no amount of external success will ever satisfy you. The truth is, many people spend their entire lives trying to escape themselves, and that's why they constantly chase distractions. But intelligent people choose a different path. They turn inward. They seek understanding. They embrace silence. And slowly, they become stronger. Not louder, not more popular, but stronger. Because real power is quiet. Real confidence doesn't demand attention. Real intelligence doesn't need validation. It simply exists. So if you've ever felt different, if you've ever preferred peace over drama, if you've ever enjoyed your own company more than meaningless conversations, there is nothing wrong with you. Perhaps you are simply learning something that most people never do. That being alone doesn't mean being lonely. It means becoming whole. And in a world obsessed with noise, learning to enjoy solitude may be one of the rarest forms of wisdom. Because sometimes, the most powerful conversations you'll ever have are the ones you have with yourself.